Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Jaya Nitya Chaitanya Chandra Nitya Chaitanya Chandra Gaura Hari. Jaya Nitya Gaura Chandra Nitya Gaura Chandra Gaura Hari. Jaya Kiri Govardhan, Jaya Kiri Govardhan, Jaya Kiri Govardhan, Jaya Kiri Govardhan. Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe. Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe. Jaya Radha Nilamata Radha Nilamata Radhe. Jaya Radha Nilamata Radha Nilamata Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Nilamata Radha Nilamata Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Srila Gurudev.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Yasodanandana Rajajanarayana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari There, I did it. Shri Radha Neela Madhava Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Just put it down, it'll be fun. I'll move it later. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 56, verses 1 through 11. The chapter titled, there we are, The Shamantaka Jewel. So Chaitanya Prabhu did things a little differently, and it was really nice. He read all the verses and then chanted the verse. What is the opinion of the assembled Vaishnavas? Would we prefer that today? Yeah, it worked well. Okay, so we'll read the introduction, since they so kindly put it in there. That way we can get the flow of the storyline in addition to the individual descriptions. Chapter 56, the Shamantaka Jewel. This chapter describes how Lord Krishna recovered the Shamantaka Jewel to allay false accusations against him and married the daughters of Jambavan and Satyajit. By enacting the pastime involving the Shamantaka Jewel, the Lord demonstrated, everybody listen carefully, the futility of material wealth. Prabhupada's words in the Krishna book. When Shukadev Goswami mentioned that King Satyajit offended Lord Krishna on account of the Shamantaka jewel, King Parikshit became curious to hear the details of this incident. Thus, Sukadev Goswami narrated the story. King Satyajit received the Shamantaka gem by the grace of his best well-wisher, the sun god Surya. After fastening the gem to a chain, which he hung around his neck, Satyajit traveled to Dwarka. The residents, thinking he was the sun god himself, went to Krishna and told him that Lord Surya had come to take his audience. But Krishna replied that the man who had come was not Surya, but King Satyajit, who looked extremely effulgent because he was wearing the Shamantaka jewel. In Dwarka, Satyajit installed the precious stone on a special altar in his home. Every day the gem produced a large quantity of gold, and it had the additional power of assuring that wherever it was properly worshipped, no calamity could occur. On one occasion, Lord Krishna requested Satyajit to give the gem to the king of the Yadus, Ugrasen. But Satyajit refused, obsessed as he was with greed. Shortly thereafter, Satyajit's brother Prashena left the city to hunt on horseback, wearing the Shamantaka jewel on his neck. On the road, a lion killed Prashena and took the jewel away to a mountain cave, where the king of the bears, Jambavan, happened to be living. Jambavan killed the lion and gave the jewel to his son to play with. When King Satyajit's brother did not return, the king presumed, that's an interesting word, that Sri Krishna had killed him for the Shamantaka gem. Lord Krishna heard about this rumor circulating amongst the general populace, and to clear his name, he went with some of the citizens to find Prashena. Following his path, they eventually found his body and that of his horse lying on the road. Further on, they saw the body of the lion that Jambavan had killed. Lord Krishna told the citizens to remain outside the cave while he went in to investigate. The Lord entered Jambavan's cave and saw the Shamantaka jewel lying next to a child. But when Krishna tried to take the jewel, the child's nurse cried out in alarm, bringing Jambavan quickly to the scene. Jambavan considered Krishna an ordinary man and began fighting with him. For 28 days, continually the two fought, until finally Jambavan grew weak from the Lord's blows. Now, understanding that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Jambavan began to praise him. The Lord touched Jambavan with his lotus hand, dispelling his fear, and then explained everything about the jewel. With great devotion, Jambavan gladly presented the Shamantaka jewel to the Lord, together with his unmarried daughter, Jambavati. Meanwhile, Lord Krishna's companions, having waited 12 days for Krishna to come out of the cave, returned to Dwarka despondent. All of Krishna's friends and family members became extremely sorrowful and began regularly worshiping Goddess Durga to assure the Lord's safe return. Even as they performed this worship, Lord Krishna entered the city in the company of his new wife. He summoned Satyajit to the royal assembly and, after recounting to him the entire story of the Shamantaka jewel's recovery, gave the jewel back to him. Satyajit accepted the jewel, but with great shame and remorse. He went back to his home, and there he decided to offer Lord Krishna not only the jewel, but also his daughter, so as to atone for the offense he had committed against the Lord's lotus feet. Sri Krishna accepted the hand of Satyajit's daughter, Satyabhama, who was endowed with all divine qualities. But the jewel he refused, returning it to King Satyajit. How interesting. So, text 1. Shukadeva Goswami said, having offended Lord Krishna, Satyajit tried the best he could to atone to representing his daughter and the Shamantaka jewel. Maharaj Parikshit inquired, "O Brahmana, what did King Satyajit do to offend Lord Krishna? Where did he get the Shamantaka jewel, and why did he give his daughter to the Supreme Lord?" Shukadeva Goswami said, Surya, the sun god, felt great affection for his devotee Satyajit. Acting as his greatest friend, the demigod gave him the jewel called Shamantaka as a token of his satisfaction. Wearing the jewel on his neck, Satyajit entered Dwarka. He shone as brightly as the sun itself, O king, and thus he went unrecognized because of the jewel's effulgence. 5. As the people looked at Satyajit from a distance, his brilliance blinded them. They presumed he was the sun god Surya and went to tell Lord Krishna, who was at that time playing dice. Aha! Krishna can do things we can't do. The residents of Dwarka said, "Obeisance unto you, O Narayana, O holder of the conch, disc and club, O lotus-eyed Damodar, O Govinda, O cherished descendant of Yadu." 7. Lord Savita has come to see you, O Lord of the universe. He is blinding everyone's eyes with his intensely effulgent rays. So Savita is another name for Suryadev, the demigod of the sun. 9. The most exalted demigods in the three worlds are certainly anxious to seek you out, O Lord, now that you have hidden yourself amongst the Yadu dynasty. Thus the unborn sun god has come to see you here. 9. Shukadev Goswami continued, hearing these innocent words, the lotus-eyed Lord smiled broadly and said, "This is not the sun god, Ravi, but rather Satyajit, who is glowing because of his jewel." Come on. Text 10. King Satyajit entered his opulent home, festively executing auspicious rituals. He had qualified brahmanas installed the Samantaka jewel in the house temple room. Text 11. Each day the gem would produce 8 bharas of gold, my dear Prabhu. And the place in which it was kept was properly worshipped would be free from calamities such as famine or untimely death. You see where offenses enter into the picture. You cannot have an untimely death when you're worshiping the Samantaka jewel properly. But Satyajit is worshiping the Samantaka jewel with pride. Therefore, it's not proper. Okay? Therefore, his brother gets killed. Beast. And also of evils like snake bites, mental and physical disorders, and, get this, the presence of deceitful people. So if we get a Samantaka jewel here, we'll have no more deceitful people. So, the astounding purport, to make this all clear to us, Srila Sridhar Swami gives the following shastric reference concerning the bhara. Okay? Pop quiz? What is a bhara? What are we referencing here? Huh? The weight. It's a measure of weight. So it's obviously a measure of weight which is not used now because there's a purport explaining it. Chatubir vrishibir kunjam kunja pancha pranam padam ashtudattaram mastucha karsham tang shatur dhapalam tulalam balamatyam prachur bharashadri santistula. And this is interesting because this is how things are measured in Vedic times. They started a small increment and worked their way up, rather than taking something large and dividing it into equal pieces, which we do in Kali Yuga. Right? 4 rice grains are called 1 gunja. 5 gunjas, 1 pana. 8 panas, 1 karsha. 4 karshas, 1 pala. And 100 palas, 1 tula. 20 tulas make up 1 bara. Huh? Huh. Listen to this one. Since there are about 3,700 grains of rice in an ounce, the Shamantaka jewel was producing approximately 170 pounds of gold every day. Hey. And they stashed it in the Gir jungle. No. Okay, so let's chant the verse. It's a 6-line verse. So, Dine Svana Bharan Astu Sastrijati Prabhu Durbhiksha Maryaristani Sarpadi Vadharo Subha Nasanti Mayinastatra Yatraste Bharyarchitomani. Please chant. Can you see that far? Okay. She didn't look like she wanted to chant the verse. I wanted to give her an opt-out on the bodily platform first. So you don't want to chant on the mental platform. Okay, I can accept that too. All right, word for word. Dine, dine. Day after day, Svarna of gold, Baran, Baras, a measure of weight, Astu, 8, Saha, it, Srijati, would produce, Prabhu, oh Master, Parikshit Maharaj. You see how humility works, eh? Here is Shukadev Goswami addressing the king as Prabhu. Prabhupada didn't make up anything. He just follows that procedure which is best, right? If Shukadev Goswami can call a king who is dependent upon him for the final instructions in his life, Prabhu, how difficult must it be for us? Huh? It doesn't have to be difficult, but we should do it with sincerity. Okay? Durbiksha, famine, Mari, untimely deaths, Aristani, catastrophes, Sarpa, snake bites. Technically just says snake, but the only real fear of a snake is if it bites you. Well, not really. Everybody is afraid of snakes anyway. At least here in this room. Anyway. Adi, mental disorders. Jadya, diseases. Ashubha, inauspicious. Nashanti. Oh, sorry, nasanti. Not with an SH sound there. There are none. Mayinaha, cheaters. Tatra, there. Yatra, where. Aste, it is present. Abhyarchita, properly worshipped. Mani, the gem. Translation: each day the gem would produce 8 bars of gold, which we have been told is 170 pounds. Amazing. My dear Prabhu, and the place in which it was kept and properly worshipped would be free of calamities, such as famine or untimely death, and also the evils of snake bites, mental and physical disorders, and the presence of deceitful persons. Om Agana Tamanandasya Anjana Salakaya Chakshumanitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vistan Stapitam Jena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Karamayam Padati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kopa Sandubhyevacha Patitenam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukum karoti vachalam pungunaga itegirim. Yat Kripa tamaham bande shigarundina taranam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale. Srimate Ramo Krishna Goswamini Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane. Nirvisesha Sunyavari Paskita Desatarani. This is 11 nice verses to basically just set the scene. Shukadev Goswami mentions one little incident that Satyajit was, gives his daughter as a wife to Krishna, and had a whole problem with this jewel. And he's letting Parikshit Maharaj hear this, and he goes, whoa, wait a minute, how did this happen? Because he's a king, and this is another king, and he's having all these problems with Krishna. So it's interesting. Why would this king do that? My goodness. So he's asking, tell me something more about this. So in 11 verses, he just gives the scene for the actual story, which starts tomorrow. Okay? So he says this Shamantaka jewel was given to King Satyajit because of his dutiful and diligent worship of Suryadev, the sun god. And the sun god, being pleased, gave him this stone, which made him appear to common people. Well, there are no common people in Dwarka, but to the people in Dwarka, playing like common people, he was the sun god himself, because all they saw was effulgence. Because as many times as we've all heard, do not look directly at the sun. How many times have we looked directly at the sun in our lives? We still do it, right? Huh? Yeah. And what do we see? Nothing. Yes, Krishna's effulgence in the form of the sun, because she's very knowledgeable of this stuff. Yes. Yeah, it's true, but all we really see is blinding light, and therefore, because it's called blinding light, because it basically blinds you. You neither see the sun planet, which is causing that effulgence, neither do you see the Supreme Lord's effulgence behind the sun, which is really causing that effulgence. Neither, when you look away from the sun, can you see anything else either. So it's completely blinding in that sense, right? So they're looking at this personality moving through the city, and they're thinking, wow, the sun must be here. That's the only light that's such a bright event that you don't see anything. Therefore, how do people conclude that it's the sun god? What are they using? What is it? Did you say speculate? That's what they're doing. You can't really hear in this room when it's from there, but yeah, so they're speculating that, well, the only thing we know, because we're very intelligent, right? And these are the people of Dwarka, they're the most intelligent people on the planet. They're seeing all this effulgence traveling through the city, and, well, by conjecture, it must be the sun god, because they've deduced it by knowing the sun does this, and this personality walking through the city is doing this. Therefore, they must be one and the same person. You see where ascending knowledge doesn't work here. Okay? You can't see something, therefore you decide it must be the same thing that'll do this to us, and that's it. And you're okay with that assessment because you've seen the sun and you've seen the effect, and now I'm seeing the same effulgence and the same effect. It must be causing from the same source. Technically, yes, as our Bhaktin Hannah corrected us, it is the effulgence of the Lord himself. And that's true. But they didn't go that far with it, did they? They only said it must be the sun god, because who else but Krishna would be here in this city that effulgent? And even Krishna doesn't do that. He allows the residents of Dwarka to see him, which is interesting when you think of the Ishupanishad. And in the Ishupanishad, in the 16th verse, in the 17th verse, the Brahmin who is there standing in front of Narayan is saying, my dear Lord, please remove your effulgence. First he describes it, and then he asks him to remove it so that I may see your face. But the residents of Dwarka don't have this problem. They see Krishna when he's out and about, when they go and see him. They see Krishna because they're not ordinary persons. They've already attained full liberation into the beautiful pastimes of Lord Krishna himself. So they're not confused, actually, but they are playing a little game of rasa tattva with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, right? They're just acting in a certain way to enhance Krishna's enactment of a perfect king. Right? Because he's a prince actually, he's not a king. So what does Krishna do, the story we heard in the introduction, what does Krishna do when Satyajit finally presents himself? He simply says, this is such a great thing. You should give it to King Ugrasen, because it would have the same effect if Ugrasen kept the jewel in the city of Dwarka as it would if Satyajit keeps the jewel in the city of Dwarka. The only difference is, rather than having 170 pounds of gold to serve the residents of the city of Dwarka, Satyajit just takes it out to the back room and locks it up because it's his gold. It's his material wealth. And this is not going to go well for him, because what happens is not that Satyajit gets killed for his pride, but someone else very dear to him is killed because of the jewel. So he has to stay alive and feel that remorse for the rest of his existence. Interesting, huh? His offense was sufficient that he will never, ever be freed from the reaction to that act of thinking he was so great in the presence of Krishna, because he had one jewel that was so valuable that the sun god simply gave it away. Well, he'll like this. The sun god saw no real value except, anyway, we'll just give it to him and he'll be happy, so what? He easily gave it up, not to someone superior to him, but to someone who is simply worshiping him, which is another interesting twist on our little tale. What opulence can Krishna give us just because we worship him by giving him what is most valuable to us, which is our heart and our life? I mean, we don't have any of the opulence that these personalities had in Krishna's time when he was on the planet 5,000 years ago. Right? So what do we have that we can give to Krishna that's of any real value compared to the Shamantaka jewel, which Krishna didn't want anyway? He just said, give it to the king. Because Krishna knows his position as the prince is to offer any great wealth that he receives to the king himself. And what does the king do? He gives it back to the people. Because we heard the description of Parikshit Maharaj in the first canto. Right? I mean, it's been a long time since we've heard that in the Bhagavatam class in Houston, because we're in the 10th canto, and this is the second time since I've been here that we got to the 10th canto. And I've been here for 40 years. So how long does it take to speak the Bhagavatam on the basis of when the purports come up? If you do it one purport a day. So it's only come up twice. And actually, this is the third time through the Bhagavatam, because the first time we finished the Bhagavatam, we didn't have all the Bhagavatam printed. Oh, wait. No. Oh, no, we started over at some other point. That's right. From when we first joined. There was some point in there that we started over. It may have been when we moved here. I don't quite remember. All I know is that the Bhagavatam has gone on every single day that I know about for 40 years. And that should be a nice example that we should continue following, because me and Sarva, who've been here a long time, aren't going to be here long enough to see that it keeps going. But all you nice young devotees will be. So just carry it on. It's so important. It's one of the 5 most essential aspects of devotional service, that processes or practices that we hear Bhagavatam every day. When Raghunath Bhatta used to chant the Bhagavatam to the 6 Goswamis, he would chant each verse in 3 different ways. And then they would discuss. Because for the 6 Goswamis, they relish simply hearing the verses of the Bhagavatam. They didn't think, oh, wow, he already said that. Why is he singing it like that now? And why don't we just go on and get into our discussion and etc. Lessons to be learned in every little aspect of these verses from the Bhagavatam. Every single verse of the Bhagavatam is worthy of our study on the basis of what it teaches, even if it seems just a mundane description. And here we just heard 11 verses that don't really go anywhere. They just say, yeah, this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened, and then this. You know.